I've already had such a hectic half term. I hosted Galentine's with all my friends. It was so fun, I can't lie. I also kind of went in a bit of a rut and I did not do that much work. I mean, I did work, but not a lot of work. And then Ramadan started, which is right now. We packed on the lip balm because the dry lips should not be making it into this video. I've actually been holding up quite well. Like, I'm not really hungry at all, surprisingly. I've actually already had a pretty productive morning. I did my laundry. I went and collected like a prescription from the pharmacy, and then I haven't actually made a video in so long, but we're back and it's time to get on the grind. Guys, this to-do list is huge. Like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. No, that's so unrealistic. Okay, let's cut it down just a bit. I don't know why I write essays for each bullet point. Just say what you need to do. No, I'm not doing all that. That's not happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the first thing on my to-do list is to do a brain dump of the eukaryotic cell cycle. But instead of just writing it down on my whiteboard and doing like a little mind map, I'm also going to talk it through with you guys. I feel like that will really stick it into my head. Ooh. Okay, so this is my attempt at a proper brain dump of the cell cycle. No notes, just everything and anything that I can actually remember. Over time, I realised that when I just read over content, I feel like I understand it, but then when I actually sit down to write it from memory, that's when the gaps really show up. So this is me just testing myself and my knowledge properly. If you're not exactly a science person or like a STEM student, the cell cycle is basically the life story of a cell. It grows, copies its DNA, and then splits into 2 new cells if we're talking about mitosis, but 4 if we're talking about meiosis. So the cell cycle is basically the life cycle of a cell: growth, DNA replication, and then division. At the top right corner of my whiteboard, you can see that I drew a pie chart to show the cell cycle. And you can also see that interphase is most of it, which I always seem to forget because mitosis seems to get all the attention. But realistically, S phase, which is in interphase, is the most important part because that's where DNA actually doubles. And something that always seemed to confuse me and trip me up was how the DNA content doubles, but then the chromosome number doesn't actually change at all. But now it makes a lot more sense when you remember that you're actually just copying each chromosome into 2 sister chromatids. You're not adding anything new, you're just duplicating them. I think before, I used to memorize the stages of the cell cycle like a list, so G1, S, G2, mitosis, cytokinesis, but I didn't really actually understand what the cell was doing. Now I'm trying to picture it instead of just reciting it. Then if I can't explain it simply, I probably don't understand it properly. There's something really satisfying about seeing it all on one board. It makes it feel less overwhelming, like it's not this huge scary topic anymore. It's just a sequence of steps that actually make sense. Then after I literally regurgitate all the knowledge that I know, I check my online notes or personal notes to see what I've missed, which I can't lie is always slightly humbling at the first stages of this process, but that's kind of the point. I'd rather catch the gaps now than in the actual exam room. It was a very, very successful session of active recall. Now we need to make some resources. So we're gonna do flashcards. I'm gonna use my personal notes that I've made, and then also Caboodle, so like this online textbook. When I make my personal flashcards, I tend to like mix a bunch of different resources together because they all usually have something different but still relatable. Not relatable, related. I've got everything up. I've got my personal notes, I've got the spec up so I don't like get off track. We've got Anki, so let's just get started. Okay, I've finished making all my flashcards. I'm so happy because I feel like I know the topic like the back of my hand now. And this content is actually so fun now that I think about it. At the start, everything to do with mitosis and cell cycle, I couldn't do it. But when you actually go over and you actually try and understand it, it's like, it's kind of clicks. I'm on a bit of a break now because I have been working for about 2 hours. Okay, so my most recent read was Hopeless. I kept pausing and starting, I don't know why, but this is like such a good book. I love Colleen Hoover. She's never disappointed me with a single ending. Something I really appreciate about her books is that she always goes into like really deep topics, but it's still interesting because sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I tend to move away from stuff that's too serious, even though you should be knowledgeable about stuff like that, but I'm reading a fictional book. I want it to be fictional. She will always keep it entertaining and I always want to know what's happening next. I remember one day I came home from school at like 2 o'clock and I was planning to get work done at like 4 and decided during that hour let's start reading, which was such a big mistake because I didn't stop reading until 8 p.m. But something I was a bit disappointed about this book was that in the book November 9th by Colleen Hoover, each chapter was bouncing between the perspectives of both like protagonists, and this one wasn't. After I finished the book, I went on to Amazon and made a basket of like a bunch of books, and then I saw that there's another book and it's from the perspective of the other protagonist, and I started screaming. You don't understand, it sounds so dramatic, but I was so happy. So this is the current read that I finished. It's just so good, and that's the thing, every time I finish a Colleen Hoover book I feel like an emotional attachment to it. It's kind of dramatic, but still I feel emotionally attached to her books. But this is what I'm going to start reading now, which is Two Can Keep a Secret. I started it and I literally stopped like 74 pages in, which is not a lot. Got to the end of chapter 7 and I just stopped. It's not that it was bad, but it was summer and I couldn't commit to a book. I was just really lazy. Not gonna lie to you guys, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to order a couple more Colleen Hoover books. I really need a bookshelf. I mean, I've got one. I've got this shelf here, but it's not really, like, it's got my school books, my makeup, but I want to make use of, there's like free space here. I really want those bookshelves that are like, they're like asymmetrical, like it comes up like this. I don't know how to explain it, I'll insert a picture. But yeah, let's start reading. to the day. I think it's about 6:15. Let's get up the to-do list and check what we need to get done next. So now we are gonna fill in this confidence competence sheet. What you do is you put the things that you have low confidence and low competence at, and then high confidence but low competence. Then here's low confidence but you have high competence, and here's high confidence, high competence. So yeah, I'm gonna do it spec point by spec point. Right, topics are atomic structure, amount of substance, bonding, energetics, kinetics, and then chemical equilibria, Le Chatelier's principle, and Casey. From those 6 topics, if I'm going to be honest, I think my worst one is amount of substance. It's not exactly the hardest, but the thing with amount of substance, which is basically calculations and like practicals and stuff, it's very much comprehension and you really need to understand what's going on. So that's a reason why I keep avoiding it.